Senator Capito, thank you.
Thank you. Administrator Regan, I want to talk about the power sector strategy and the 6 different EPA regulations that you put out all at once. In a 2022 speech, you said, if EPA's actions unfold while the rest of the federal family, leading states, and leading firms in this sector are mobilizing their tools and resources, then our actions and the clean energy investment signals that they send will work as they should, hand in glove. So if I understand your statement, by issuing 6 rules in a short time frame, as the same time the IRA is being implemented, the EPA rules will send clean energy investment signals to the industry. Is that correct?
That statement was intended when I addressed the utility leaders at Sierra Week, that we would issue 4 rules simultaneously. That was to focus on wastewater discharge, cleaning up coal ash, focusing on controlling mercury, and the 4th is reduction in carbon pollution. And what I had talked to the industry leaders about is these regulations have to come from the agency. In the past, they have come in staggered ways or in ways that did not work in a sort of cross-purpose way. We decided, and I said this 2 years ago and worked with the industry, that we would put out 4 rules at the same time that have their own unique statutory authority and requirements, but that they could see the cost associated and make strategic investments, long-term investments, to provide affordable, reliable power.
So you went to 6 instead, from 4 to 6.
We announced 4 at the same time.
And now we have 6. We have the good neighbor rule and all that pulled together, correct?
Some of those rules we issued prior to.
You've changed some of your rules. You said you wanted to be durable and provide certainty, and you've proposed, as I mentioned in my opening statement, to add 5 more states to the 23 covered by good neighbors. So you're already changing your rules, even though you state that you want to provide security or certainty.
No, I think when you look at the Good Neighbor Rule, I think there are a number of states that are actually controlling their emissions and not contributing to states next door. And so when we think about the Good Neighbor Rule, we are responding to the states that have said, you have a federal obligation to protect our citizens. You also have a federal obligation not to penalize us for doing what we need to do while other states may not be controlling.
At the same time, you didn't listen to the state plans, right? You just went forward and said we're going to have a federal plan, and that's it. All these state plans were pretty much neutered, correct?
No, we absolutely listen to the state plans. As a former state regulator, I understand this process extremely well. Still have a lot of colleagues who are serving as state secretaries, and so listen. The bottom line is that the federal government has an obligation to exercise a duty to control pollution. Sometimes pollution, well, not sometimes, pollution doesn't understand boundaries. So if there are other states that are polluting neighboring states, to avoid litigation from those states who have done what they've said they're going to do, we have an obligation to make sure that we protect those states.
Well, I think that's obviously being challenged in the courts, and your ability or your actual right to actually do that. Let me ask you, I just get so frustrated when I see, let's see, right now our power mix is 60% fossil fuel, 16% coal, 43% natural gas, 18% nuclear, 20% renewable. The plan that you've put out, the Clean Power Plan, that will basically make every coal plant extinct because nobody's going to be able to afford to do that on an aging coal plant. So those will be gone in the 2030s. And then nobody's going to build a new one unless they only run it under 40%, because they're not going to be able to meet the demand. Do you know a U.S. power plant right now that meets the 90% CCUS requirement that you've put into that bill? Where is that plant?
I think I want to sort of push back on the notion that this rule is going after coal. I think when we talk to these utility CEOs, they provided to us their plans. Some of these coal plants were already going to sunset because they're transitioning to natural gas. Some of these coal plants, we do believe, will be able to take advantage of these CCS technologies.
Is anybody doing that now?
Well, I've had a number of visits in states
the answer is no.
Like North Dakota. I spent time with the governor in Wyoming. There are utilities that are putting on this technology and beginning to use it. They're also taking full advantage of the resources provided by the Inflation Reduction Act, tax codes by the Inflation Reduction Act, to invest in this very technology. So our timeline does match with the resources currently going to utilities who are investing in CCS
Okay,
technology.
so here's another problem. We had a pipeline in West Virginia, a natural gas pipeline, that goes down towards North Carolina.
Sure.
The Mountain Valley Pipeline. We all know what we went through to get the completion of that. We had to have a presidential signature to get that completed after it had been in and out of the courts for years. It's like triple the cost that it originally was. How in the world can you say that we're going to do CCS, we're going to build pipelines that are going to carry carbon? That's not going to happen.
The country is already doing it, and the country is doing it for other sectors of the economy. And here's where the whole of government...
I would love for you to give me an interstate pipeline that's been recently built that carries carbon, and then I'll be quiet about it.
Well, there's a pipeline currently being built from North Dakota to Iowa. And so
When was it permitted?
I'd have to get you those details.
Yeah, a long time ago. All right.